Nobody's going to come knocking at your door with opportunities. You got to create them. Out of sight, out of mind. We talked about this before. Out of sight, out of mind. No one will ever have you in mind for anything unless you have yourself in mind for it. Get on people's radars. That's it. Got to interact, socialize, get around the right people. Out of sight, out of mind, people. I can't tell y'all enough. What is the plan? Any man with no plan shall perish. What is the idea? What is the vision? What is it? What's happening? What's going on in your mind that the world needs to experience? Listen to what I'm saying, people. You are the future. I do not want you to start thinking as small as your bank account. Be obedient to the visions, the ideas. Move on them. Out of sight, out of mind. It's grind season. It's hustle season. I need to awaken the beast inside of you. If you make it to the end of this video, again, I want you to write, the world is an empty canvas waiting on new thoughts to think. And it's on us to create those thoughts. It is your responsibility to be obedient to God's visions. How dare you have God to send you a vision and a thought and an idea, or show up and reveal these things and ideas to you in your dream. It can be you writing a book. It can be you with all of your arts and crafts and designs. It can be you with sports. What are your visions and ideas that God has sent you? What is it? What's taking you so long to move on it? Put your money together. Budget your money. Make the move. Make the move. Just do it. And guess what? If you hit a wall, get your ass back up and keep going. I've made it this far from hearing way more no's than I've heard yeses. But I'm not afraid of the word no.
Write the vision and make it plain so that he who reads it will run to it. And even though it tarry, that means take a long time, wait for it, for surely it will come at an appointed time. Listen to me. That's real. If you don't think it's real, I dare you to try it. Write everything you want on a piece of paper. Everything. Use your wildest imagination. If you can think it, you can achieve it. Write it on a piece of paper. Read it every morning, every night. Come back here 1 year from today and see how much of that stuff then came true. You have to write it. If it's not written, you reduce your chances greatly of it ever occurring.
One underneath the other. Just let your dreams run free here. Not what you think you can get, but what you want. If everything fell into place and you could have whatever you wanted the next 10 years, what would that be? Little things, major things, insignificant things, doesn't matter. Just make the list.
I got to tell y'all something. The real reality is this. When you decide what you want to do for your life and your career, when God sends you a vision, a bold vision and confirmation around that book you were supposed to write, anything, it's going to be your family and friends and loved ones to be the first ones to try and talk you out of greatness. Because why? They were never sent that vision. They were never sent that idea. They were never sent that concept. As a matter of fact, if you try and explain it, they're still not going to get it, because you see the invisible. You see what's not there. Only those that can see the invisible can do the impossible. You have to be able to see what's not there in order to pull off the impossible.
Be clear in your mind in what you intend to achieve. Know what you are going to do. That doesn't seem like too much to ask. But how often do we see people going through their lives without knowing what they are trying to do, without having any intent, without having a clear mission? I'm talking on an individual level. As a person, people go through their lives without knowing what it is they want to do, what they want to accomplish. Know what your mission is. Know what your intent, as the commander of your life, know what your intent is, and then fight with everything you've got to win.
3 major parts of personal development. Number 1 is physical part. Part of success is physical. Some people don't do well because they don't feel well. One of the first things to go to work on with intensive effort, and that's your own good health. because a lot of things come from that. You know, the future possibilities could be greatly diminished by being lazy in producing maximum health. If you'll take care of that as a support system, you can't believe what else is possible. You can't believe what the mind can think of. You can't believe your imagination and your faith and your ability to say, hey, I'll go to work and produce the muscle to do the deal. Why? I'm healthy. I'm vigorous. I'm vital. I'm not out of breath. But sometimes, you know, when all these ideas and stuff comes and, you know, you're a little bit too weak to even attempt, you say, oh, I'm not sure I can do that. The doubts sometimes are more physical than they are mental. You haven't got the vitality to believe it's possible. But if you've got the vitality and the strength and you've got the health to do it, I'm telling you, ideas seem to love to be invested in healthy people that have got the ability and the ambition to pull it off. They got the health to do it. They got the strength to do it. So why not start with the health and see if your own vitality would inspire you to more imagination? Because now when you imagine, you can pull it off. But if you can't pull it off, you know, why imagine? The imagination says, why to go to work and spin all of these goals and stuff when the body isn't ready to produce? So start with physical. It's very important. Now here's some good ideas. There's scripture that says this, treat your body like a temple. Excellent phrase. A temple meaning something you take extremely good care of. Treat your body like a temple, not a woodshed. Here's why. The body and the mind work together. The body and the physical and the health is a support system for the mental that can dream, that can think, that can ponder, that can wonder, that can design, that can believe, that can have the spirit and all that's possible in terms of emotional content. But now, since the mind and the body work together, you got to take care of the body as a support system. One wise man said sometimes the spirit is willing, but the body is weak. See, that's a sad combination, a willing spirit and a weak body. Sad. You wake up in the morning, right? The mind says, let's go get him. The body says, I can't even get out of bed. So have a talk with yourself and say, this is the last time I'm going to be out of breath. This is the last time I will lack the vitality to pull off my dreams. Because sure, the dream factory will shut down if you haven't got the vitality and the energy and the health to pull it off. So start taking care. Now here's the key to be conscious of self, but not self-conscious. You just got to take care of it. You don't have to be a fanatic. It doesn't take 8 hours a day pushing weights to have relative good health. Just do the simple stuff, the exercise and the nutrition and the health and just do the stuff. You know, for normal pulling off with vitality, the dreams that you want, just a simple little plan will do. Now also part of the physical is the outside as well as the inside. Interesting phrase written. It says, God looks on the inside, people look on the outside. So you got to take care of both. The inside for God and the outside for people. What's the old phrase? You never have a second chance to make a first impression. So the outside appearance is also valuable as well as the inside vigor and vitality. Somebody says, well, people shouldn't judge you by your appearance. Let me give you a clue. They do. You can't bypass that. Now, of course, when people get to know you, they'll judge you by more than just how you appear. But physical, outside, inside. Here's what's good advice. Make sure the outside is an excellent reflection of the inside. Take care of both. So first, in personal development, on these three parts, is physical. Here's the second, spiritual. I am a believer that humans are a special creation. I don't ask other people to adopt my belief, but I simply am a believer that humans are unique among all life forms. We're affected by how we feel, attitude. This is the emotional part. We need the intellectual part to set sail, so as the winds blow, we can still get where we want to go. Redefine, keep strengthening our psychological and philosophical guidance system. But now we're also affected by the emotions. That's the power. 4 things to consider on attitude and how you feel. Here's number 1. It's how you feel about the past. Past experience, even past losses, past failures, as well as successes. To review it and go back over it, see where you went wrong, correct that, invest that now in the future. Don't live in the past, and don't carry the past around like a burden, but simply use your past as one of your mentors to help refine mistakes, make some changes that you can invest now in the future. Here's the second attitude. It's how you feel about the future. We look back for experience. But number two, we look forward for inspiration. Take some time and decide what you want. Where do you want to go? What do you want to do the next 10 years, 20 years? How about the people you want to meet, the cities you want to visit, experiences you'd like to have over this next period of time? Here's the next key. Write it all down. Building a life is like building a house. You wouldn't start building the house until you had it finished. So I'm asking you not to be casual anymore. Start designing the future for yourself, for your family, for your business. Okay? Decide what you want. So from the past we get experience, from the future we get excitement. Now here's the next advice. Put everything on your list of goals. Little things, insignificant to someone else but important to you. So set goals. Set the goals that'll turn you on, goals that'll get you excited. Put everything on your list. Now, here's the next attitude. It's very important how you feel about everybody. If you want to be a leader extraordinaire, here's what you learn. Each of us need all of us. One person doesn't make an economy. One person doesn't make a symphony orchestra. Each of us need all of us, and all of us need each of us. Each gift is important as we bring it to the table, as we bring it to the community. Now here's the last one on attitude. It's how you feel about yourself. Nothing more powerful than self-confidence to start multiplying your income by 2, by 3, by 5, by 10. It comes from self-esteem. Doing the things you know you should do, and at the end of this day, your self-esteem is soaring and high. 3 key words. Remember these words? Here they are. Study, practice, and teach. If you are a believer in whatever religion or whatever spiritual part of your program, these are 3 excellent words. Study, practice, teach. Don't neglect your studies on your own spirituality, whatever its origin, whatever your beliefs. Then practice. Put it into practice so that, number 1, you become a good role model, first for your children. Then teach. Pass it on. You got to pass it on to the next generation and the next generation. What if the next generation gets a little weaker and the next generation gets a little weaker? Now the family foundation is starting to be weakened, which now weakens the nation because the nation is built up of strong family foundations. Now here's the third part. First is physical, second is spiritual, third is mental. Some key phrases on the mental part. First, the mind must be nourished. Food for thought. Bread for the head. Yes, you need a slice of toast in the morning, right, for your body, but you need a slice of cassette you put in the car system and listen and listen. Let something feed your mind. Here's what I teach in one of the other seminars on the mind, and that is stand guard at the door of your mind. Don't just listen to anything and everything. Make sure that you're your own best filter of what goes into your mental factory and spins out the fabric of your life and future. Stand guard at the door of your mind. Spend time. Be a selective listener. But you got to have a good diet, a good mental diet. When you walk into a home and walk into the pantry of the kitchen, you take a look what's in there. This family's either going to be healthy or it isn't going to be healthy. And a lot depends on what's in the cupboard. What you bring home, right, from the grocery store that you feast on for the body. Now here's what's important. A proper menu for the mind to make sure that it's got a wide range of nourishment. Because the mind needs the full education. The education of the dangers of life as well as the possibilities of life. Life consists of really 2 major things. One is avoiding the dangers and taking advantage of the opportunities. That's what life is all about. Avoiding the dangers and taking advantage of the opportunities. Now, by education, you've got to be able to see both, where somebody points out to you, these are the dangers, these are the possibilities. And if you keep refining your ability to see the dangers, to avoid as many as possible, and to see as many opportunities as possible, and to maximize those as you go and refine and go produce and refine, now that starts to develop the foundation for what we call a good life, a productive life, a fulfilled life. And we need this mental input so that you'll have mental food to feast on long after the lights are out and we've left the premises. Now, we also need mental exercise. We talked about debate earlier. That's good mental exercise. Is it or isn't it? Here's what's important. To debate with yourself. To look at both sides of the issue. You must be a student of tragedy as well as triumph. You must be a student of ill as well as good. Ideas. Learning to debate with yourself what's good, what's bad, what's good for you, what isn't good for you. Keep your mind vigorous. Study evil as well as good. You need a good library. And in this library, you need all kinds of diversity. You need a book on Gandhi and you need a book on Hitler. Gandhi to show you how high and lofty someone's ambitions that are noble can go, and the other one to show you how despicable and low someone can sink in terms of pure evil embodied in a human. Don't be afraid of the debate. Don't be afraid of the health debate. Don't be afraid of the religious debate, the spiritual debate. Don't be afraid of something you believe in to be challenged, because that's where the vigor and the flourishing of something is. It survives the debate. If it survives the debate, it's a pretty good idea. Okay, mental exercises. So, feed the mind, debate, exercise, a continual diet. Can't go too long in between the classes, schools, seminars, and the sermons where things are being taught of value. Here's what else is important. You got to go to everything you can afford. Have a good plan, weekly plan, monthly plan to go to a variety of things. Go to a variety of things. Go to a variety of things. And don't miss the chance. Even if you're involved in a certain company and they say, we're going to have a training class. You say, I've been to one of those. I'm asking, you got to go again. You got to go again. You can't get it all the first time. When they call a little training class, make sure you're there. Here's why. Some of them are going to be life-changing. And you don't know which experience is going to be life-changing. You can't pick the one. You just got to go, 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 go. One is life-changing. You go again, you go again, you go again. Another one is life-changing. For the people that were there, somebody that you met, something that you heard, and that one was just perfect. The atmosphere was right, the crowd was right, and everything was right, and you'll never be the same again. And you don't know which one that's going to be. That's why you've got to pursue. Go often. Have a good plan for the search of knowledge and ideas that can inspire to the best of your potential. So now we've got the physical, we've got the spiritual, we've got the mental parts of personal development.
If you make it to the end of this video, I want you to write this. The world is an empty canvas waiting on new thoughts to think. And it's on us, creative visionaries. It's on us to create those thoughts. You pop up with the vision and the idea, and everybody, monkey see, monkey do. They all fall in line. They want to do exactly what you did. What is that vision? What is that idea that you're sitting on? What is that dream that showed up to you and only you?
You have to have everything you want written. If you do not have it written down, your chances of it happening is reduced drastically because it's a principle of success.
When you start anything, the first step, you're excited. And then you take another step and another step. The enthusiasm from the beginning starts to fade out.
Your future is in your hands. You know what that means? You got to work on your mind. Fortify yourself. You got to upgrade, level up your skill set. You want to be in a community of collaborative, supportive relationships that's going in your direction. And anybody that don't have the mindset that you have, let them go.
He lost sight of the long-term goal, and it faded. It faded from memory, and the passion dried up, so we stopped the daily tasks that will allow us to achieve our goals. And you began to rationalize. Maybe I can't. Maybe I don't really want to. Maybe this goal isn't for me. And so you give up. You let it go. No. Don't do that.
If you understand completely what I'm going to tell you from this moment on, your life will never be the same again. The things you want just seem to fall in line. And from now on, you won't have the problems, the worries, the gnawing lump of anxiety that perhaps you've experienced before. They'll be things of the past. Here's the key to success. We become what we think about.
When you go to sleep at night, how are you going to feel about your day? All depends on who you decide to include in your day. You got 24 hours in a day. Stop running around acting as if you don't have a choice. You do have a choice.
Don't let neglect destroy your days, destroy your life, and destroy your future. Go back and do what you can. And if you'll do what you can, then life will give you some extraordinary things to do. You got to take care of the small disciplines before life will give you a chance to handle the more complicated disciplines.
You've got to control the beginning and the end of your day with your thinking. And so one of the first things you need to do when you wake up is to take a 5-minute window and you visually see your goals and dreams. Picture them as videos in your mind. Picture them as you possessing them and see them written down on a sheet of paper. This will begin to control your mind for the day.
I want that long-term goal to be so embedded in my mind that I never lose sight of it. Ever. Then the little tasks and projects and short-term goals that you tackle need to lead towards strategic victory, winning the long war.
Start working a plan to get there and minimizing everything else. Getting very clear on the mission. Very clear on the mission. And working the plan. Everything else, guess what it gets? A no. When you do things, do them intentional. Do the things that are going to move you forward.
Every day, do something that moves you toward that goal, that keeps that goal alive and in sight and in focus. However small or insignificant that step might seem, take it, do it, make it happen, because that goal isn't going to achieve itself.
Waking up early, working out every day, if you start with those two kind of cornerstones, and then the other thing is, figure out what you're going to do during the day. Don't go to bed without a plan of how you're going to handle the next day.
To go forward.
To learn vital information about creating a future and be defined by a vision of the future instead of the memories of the past.
Why? We conform. And the trouble is that we're acting like the wrong percentage group, the 95% who don't succeed. These people believe that their lives are shaped by circumstances, by things that happen to them, by exterior forces. They're outer-directed people.
A habit is something you do without giving it any conscious thought. And you know that most people live by habit. They don't think. The late and great Dr. McFarland from down in Kentucky said 2% of the people think, 3% of the people think they think, and he said 95% of the people would rather die than think.
The wonderful thing is this: if you do what other successful people do, you eventually get the same result that they do. Most people are broke up until their 40s and 50s. So if you're broke today, you're just one of the gang. The only question is, do you stay there? And the answer is no.
If you are not defined by some vision that is bigger than you, and you are not passionate about that vision, then you're left with the old hardware of the past in your brain, and you will be predictable in your life.
Now, when I started off in this many years ago, I came from very poor beginnings. I dropped out of high school. I could only get laboring jobs. I was told, by the way, if you don't get a good education, you won't do well in life. And I believed that for a long time until I found there's hundreds of thousands, millions of people who dropped out of high school who went on to become millionaires and billionaires as well.
A survey was made one time that covered a lot of men, working men, and these men were asked this question: why do you get up in the morning? 19 out of 20 had no idea. If you ask them, they'll say, everyone goes to work in the morning. And that's the reason they do it.
Learning is the beginning of life change. Some people want to start with motivation, but you don't start with motivation. You can tell we don't spend that much time on motivation. And we're here, enough motivation, certainly. But here's the best motivation we've got going. When we bring our dedication and let it show, we let the work of our hands show, that's the motivation we want.
You got to learn how to walk by faith and not by sight. That once you begin to trust yourself, life takes on a whole new meaning, because now I want you to do that feeling that you are led.
When we think a new thought, literally opens a space up in our minds, in our lives, that never existed before prior to having that thought. And what happens is your unconscious and subconscious mind goes to work on filling in that space with the people, places, resources, and things to fill up that space and fully furnish it. That's the power of how we think.
You are thinking in the past. And so most people then spend the majority of their life talking about why they never arrive at their vision of the future because of some past experience.
You can exercise them, and you can literally create the start of anything because you are creative. The only thing about a man that is a man is his mind. Everything else you can find in a pig or a horse.
At some point, we all bought into this lie that you've got to feel ready in order to change. At some point, you're going to have the courage. At some point, you're going to have the confidence. And it's complete garbage. And so there are so many people in the world, and you know, you may be watching this right now, and you have these incredible ideas, and what you think is missing is motivation. And that's not true.
We say that success is not an accident. Failure is not an accident. So if you just follow the tracks of other successful people, no matter where you're starting from, you eventually get to the same place that they get. The two most important things we need to have to be happy and healthy is a sense of control, things are happening for a reason, and a sense of coherence, a feeling that things fit together.
Just get stronger. Get better. We've all got those personal winters. I'm asking all of you to get better in spite of the winters, in spite of the downturn. The money downturn, the social downturn, the personal downturn, whatever it is. The key is not to wish for a better winter. The key is to wish for more strength, more wisdom, more courage, get better, get wiser, get stronger.
Some of you are having problems with battles of things you're trying to change and you can't change them. Old habits that you were keeping for the last 20 years, and now you want to change, and it's tough to change. If you keep watching pornography, you keep reading dirty books, now the first time you see it, it doesn't bother you. But if you keep seeing it, it becomes downloaded.
When an idea comes into your mind, you want to ask yourself this question. Don't ask whether it's wrong or whether it's right. That's not the question. You know what the question is? Will that idea take me from where I am and move me in the direction of the star that I'm shooting at?
You're never going to feel like it. Motivation's garbage. You only feel motivated to do the things that are easy. Why is it so hard to do the little things that would improve my life? And what I've come to realize, the way that our minds are designed, is our minds are designed to stop you at all costs from doing anything that might hurt you.
But now let's make these notes now on setting goals. The promise of the future is an awesome force. We look back for experience, but we have to look forward now for inspiration. And what gives us inspiration to get up in the morning and do our job, learn skills, develop all that we can possibly be, is the promise of the future. And it can be so powerful that it can overwhelm any adversary you might have, any difficulties you might have. Here's a key phrase: reasons make the difference in how your life works out. Reasons make the difference in your appetite and zest for taking on the challenge, doing the job, becoming successful. Mr. Schoaf said, if you have enough reasons, you can do the most incredible things. You can get through the most difficult day. You can overcome the most unbelievable challenges if you have enough reasons. And so he said to me, if you haven't got a list of your goals, Mr. Rohn, it's probably because you don't have enough reasons. He said, I'm sure since I've met you, you have enough intelligence. And he said, you have enough good health. And he said, you have, all of those things working for you. But here's what you must work on now, is to have enough reasons. Looking into the future, developing reasons. Okay. Now here's a note to make. It's important to make sure that the greatest pull on your life is the pull of the future. Some people let the past pull them back. The past can be like gravity if you let it to pull you back. Some people live in the past. They live in the darkness of the past. They live in the mistakes of the past. They live in the discouragement of the past. They didn't make it, and that affects them for the rest of their life, living in the past. So we don't want the past to pull us back, to live in the past. So make this note. Dreams and goals can become magnets. Dreams and goals can become magnets. And the stronger the goal, the higher the purpose, the more powerful the objective, the stronger this magnet is that pulls you that direction. Now, not only does your goals and your objectives pull you that direction, here's what they also do. They pull you through. They pull you through all kinds of down days. They pull you through a difficult time. It'll pull you through some winter of your life. Some people get lost in the confusion of the day simply because their goal is not bright enough to pull them through. Next, it's goals that drive us to take advantage of the spring. Why would the farmer put the plow in the ground in the spring if he couldn't see the vision of the harvest when the summer is finished? Is it possible to see the finished harvest? And the answer is yes. We do that simply by faith. Key phrase, faith is the ability to see things that don't yet exist. So here's what we want to do in our goal-setting session, is to start looking into the future of what you would like to accomplish, where you would like to go, the person you would like to be, and see if you can't get a better picture of the finished objective. See yourself there. See yourself in possession of. For your dreams to greatly influence you, for the future to pull you, your future must be well planned. There are two ways to face the future. One is with apprehension, the other with anticipation. Guess how many people face the future with apprehension? Why? They don't have it well designed. And without really thinking about it, they have probably bought someone else's view of how to live. You will face the future with anticipation when you have planned a future you can get excited about. When you have designed your future results in advance. In this way, the future will capture your imagination. It will exert an enormous influence on you. And to design your future, you must have goals. Well-defined goals are like a magnet. They pull you in their direction. And the better you have defined them, the better you have described them, the harder you work on them, the stronger they pull. And they pull you through all kinds of difficulties too. Without goals, it is easy to let life deteriorate to the point where you're just making a living. It is not difficult to get trapped by economic necessity and settle for existence rather than substance. We all have a choice. We can either make a living or design a life. Now, we're going to take some time to actually start designing the next 10 years of your life. We're going to start setting your goals. Goal setting is one of the most important skills to develop if you want to design your future. I'm going to give you enough homework not only to keep you busy for the rest of your life, but also to help you create the kind of life you may have always dreamed about living, but never believed possible. So let's get on with it. The sooner you exert the discipline, the sooner you will be enjoying the results. Once the results start to come, believe me, you won't mind the hard work and discipline it's going to take.